Hello and welcome to another episode of Boxing TV. I'm your host, professional boxing commentator Dan Hewitt. I hope you're all well. It's actually had a week off last week, believe it or not, for the second time actually in my entire career because my wife and my little girl had COVID. Now I've got COVID, but as they say, show must go on and all that. Yeah, just excuse that. I want to hear where you're from. Everybody watching, thanks for tuning in. Put in the comments a comment. I've got three incredible guests here today: former world champions, current champions, legends. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure your comments coming in. Just going first of all to the comments. Lisa, straight away, watches every week. Lisa, nice to see you. Hello. Great to see you. But not a lot's happened over the last kind of week or two, really, when it comes to boxing, apart from the Canelo situation, which we will talk about a little bit later on. But the main thing really is the influencer thing happening again. The whole KSI thing happened again, which got a bit crazy because apparently he elbowed this Joe Fournier or whatever his name is last night, which is mad. But the maddest thing was seeing two guys who were like 35 stone. I mean, I know I can't talk a lot. I was a bigger guy recently. But they were like 35 stone. There's like 60, 70 stone in that ring yesterday. I've never seen anything look more dangerous, more crazy in my entire life. It was absolutely mental. Everybody watching, I will be giving a giveaway a little bit later on today for the person who shares the most. So make sure you share. Make sure you definitely drop a like on this particular stream to get more people involved and more people watching. So make sure you share, make sure you like, and make sure you tell me you've shared so I know that you'll be in with the chance of winning merchandise for Boxing TV a little bit later on today. Now, I've got three amazing guests, three absolutely incredible guests for you today. First of all, Mr. Hector Camacho Jr., the son of a legend. And not only that, a cracking, great guy, a good fighter as well as his own right, who's really trying to make a difference in stopping gun crime, stopping crime in general and drugs. We're going to be speaking with Kevin a little bit later on today, who's helping with stopping horrific drugs killing people, which is absolutely amazing. Again, make sure you share, make sure you like. Also going to be bringing on former two-time heavyweight world champion, Mr. Tim Witherspoon. Unbelievable guy. I actually met him in the toilets about 13 years ago. And it's mad, even to this day, where we are now. It's absolutely insane. And then finally, the current British lightweight champion, Mr. Gavin Gwynne. So a lot to see. So first of all, I'm going to be bringing on, again, no introduction needed, but the son of an absolute legend, Mr. Hector Camacho Jr.
Macho time. Dan, it's a pleasure being on again with you, brother. Boxing TV, you get all the latest and the greatest news on.
Absolute top man. Great to see you, Hector. Again, the son of an absolute legend. And I don't want to keep it just as the son of an absolute legend, which you are. But at the same time, again, in your own right, you're making a difference. And in your own right, you're a very, very good fighter. So welcome
Thank
to the
you,
show. Again, everybody watching, we've got loads of comments coming in now. So thanks, everybody, for watching. Make sure you're sharing. Lee Hurley says, hiya, Dan. Evening to you. Richard Vernon, nice to see you too, mate. And Sophie, hello, bro. Missed you, bro. I'll see you really soon, I'm sure I will. So make sure you keep your comments coming in. So first of all, Mr. Hector Camacho Jr.
Macho time.
It is. It absolutely is. And you really are making a difference, mate. And I can't thank you enough for what you're doing for the world right now. I'm going to ask you some pressing questions today. On not only all in a good way. I mean, you know, I'm never going to be a scumbag.
No problem.
But I want to hear it raw with you. I want to know what went on. I want to know how you felt. I want to know why this happened in the first place. But more in a positive light and what you're doing to change this. For people out there, if you can save one life, that's one life saved. So starting really from the beginning, it must have been hard to be the son of such a charismatic legend. We were just talking there between Tim Witherspoon and yourself, and we were talking about kind of how charismatic he was. He was like the Latino Muhammad Ali, Hector Camacho. But that also comes with costs, and that also comes with hurt sometimes, as far as people, especially if you're trying to follow. Look at Chris Eubank Jr. Look at the Ricky Hatton's son. You know, there's a lot of expectation there. So what has it actually been like as far as your life to be the son of a legend like Camacho?
Well, Dan, it has its pros, it has its cons. But overall, great. I'm proud. It's an honor I got to live some of that hard work he put in, and I know what it took. He was my superhero. He was my macho dad. So it was great. It has its pros and its cons. The good side of it, everybody knew the Macho Man. Everybody loved the Macho Man. What he did for us, New Yorkers, boxing fans, Puerto Rican, Latinos across the world, he made us proud. Like I said, he was the Puerto Rican Muhammad Ali. He was the first self-promoted boxer. I mean, you want to know the value of Macho Camacho? If you look at TV right now, boxing fights, about 90% of boxers wear Macho Camacho style boxing trunks. Something he brought to boxing. So
That's true.
it's tremendous. It's great. The love I have
Never thought about that.
received since his passing, the respect. I mean, it's everything.
Awesome. Now, you didn't just follow in your dad's footsteps. You really did have a great career of your own, also winning titles along the way. So tell us a little bit about what you achieved as a boxer.
Well, being the son of a great, famous legend, it's not easy. And instead of me using that as a shadow, I use it as a light. Everybody knows the name, so I didn't put that pressure on me. I want to be known for myself, Hector Camacho Jr., and I believe I achieved that as one of my prime moments in boxing. I was main event on HBO Kill Nation card, and my father was on my undercard, so that was my 3-time world championship right there. He fight on my show, but I had a great career. I did what I wanted to do in boxing, be known for myself. I got kind of tired when I was small. People pointing, oh, that's Camacho's son. Oh, that's Camacho's son. I want to be known for myself, and I want to be known like Camacho Jr., make a difference in the sport, make a difference in the world. That's what I feel like I'm doing now, achieving my goals in boxing, and it's still macho time.
I love it. So, for people who don't know the Hector Camacho story, because there are people out there who watch the show, and thanks you all legends for watching. Some people just like watching on a Sunday when the kids are in bed and just listen to me rant. But thanks a lot for watching, very much. I've got loads of comments that I'm going to look at in just a second. In fact, yeah, let's go to the comments now, because there's loads of people saying hi here. Hello, this is Paul Driscoll. He's over a good fighter himself back in the day. Hello, Dan. What time is it?
It's Paul, Macho time. That's my guy, Paul.
Love that. Royston Stray, great fighter, Hector. Absolutely. Paul Driscoll said, I met the man. He treated me like gold. Awesome.
Great man. Yes.
Heavenly, everlasting prayers. Love that. It's been a funny old life for you and your father. Bless him.
Yeah.
Bless his soul. But not everybody knows this story. So I want to play this, and I want people to see exactly why we're going to go so raw and so deep with this. Just check this out, guys.
For Edward Chapo Rosario, 1986, Madison Square Garden. It was the Macho versus Rosario in Puerto Rico. During that time, my father was so-called New York. And that
watching Macho Camacho Way, only on Valley Sports.
Looks pretty good. It looks
Amazing,
good,
in fact. It really, really does. It looks absolutely fantastic. But I want to go to you at this. I mean, how old were you when your dad, because you must know, it was about 10, 12 years ago, wasn't it?
It's been 10 years ago, yeah. 35.
Right. So you were my age.
Becoming a man, really understanding life, maturing during that age, and just like that, a shock. They took him, due to gun violence. They just took him from us, and that just changed my whole outlook in life. I just noticed that in a blink of an eye, things could change.
Yeah.
Here I am, this hero who I looked up to, the superhero, who wasn't that father figure. They'll come home. Let me see your homework, son. I didn't live with him. My mother broke up young, but he would always come around to see me. Always picked him in his fancy cars, and he was like a superhero, you know. And when he was gone, and I would see him on TV, I go to the fights, he was like, wow. But yeah, just like that, it took him from us, you know, and that's just life, and that's the life we're living in now. That's why I'm an advocate of gun violence. That's why, you know, I'm hands-on when it comes down to this.
I mean, let's take you back to that point. I mean, you were basically my age when you found. I can't even imagine. I mean, my mum and dad going like, but to tell me about the day, what you remember of the day, kind of when you found out this happened, this awful shooting happened to your old man. I mean, your father.
Yeah, I was coming out of training camp. I was coming out of the gym, boxing gym, and my wife picked me up. When I got in the car, I looked at her. She had tears in her eyes. I said, "Baby, what happened? You okay? I gotta tell you something." When she told me that, I just had this urge, this feeling. I said, "My father?" I said, "Yes." I guessed it on point. He said he got shot. Fernando just called me, a friend of mine, Fernando Mamos. He called me up. He said, "Marcia, your father got shot. Think it's time to go to Puerto Rico."
Wow.
Before he goes. When he told me that, I just lost it. Like I was just numb, you know.
Yeah.
It happened so fast. I remember in a couple of months prior to that, I was in Puerto Rico with my father, and we were talking about the violence in Puerto Rico. He told me, "Hey, Papi, if you're gonna stay in Puerto Rico, be careful in the streets. Like they jacking people up. That a whole lot of crime is going up. Be careful out here." Remember him telling me that. I'm a family man. I don't go out and party. I'm opposite of my father.
Yeah.
So I took his advice. I said, "Okay," and it just so happened when he got shot, that was the first thing hit in my mind. But he warned me that the streets were crazy. So, you know, that's just the life we live in.
The question I had for you is why? Why was he shot? I mean, and I'm saying this from an outsider because I don't really know that side of what he was like or anything. Was this just like an isolated incident when someone's just shot him? Or was he involved in something that would make it that way?
You know, Dan, I try to shy away from these kind of things. I don't want to break my head. I'm still stuck with the same questions. Why?
Yeah.
We don't really have justice in Puerto Rico. So I don't even know what's going on. You know, I kind of shy away from the whole case because I wasn't happy with the case. It didn't make no sense to me. He got shot on a main highway, on a main road, no camera, nobody seen nothing, nobody know nothing. And it happens a lot in Puerto Rico. A lot of crimes are, you know, unsolved, you know. So when that happened, I just said, man, you know, it's a bad Puerto Rico's bad omen. A lot of crime in Puerto Rico. When that happened, I just left the case alone. Like I wanted to remember my father on good terms. On the high point when it's macho time. I don't remember the downtime when he shot when he got killed or why, or you know, I just keep memory alive, keep going forward. Okay, if I take some time out to just dwell on what happened, man, I'll break down. You know, I'll break down. So I just keep myself going. And just keep pushing forward, keep punching. Life is a fight. We gotta keep fighting. I'm a champion. Keep fighting.
That kind of stuff can really eat you up, though, can't it? That could tear your whole life apart. And I'm sure at times that's happened. I mean, I can't speak from experience here, but I'm sure there's been times at your life where you may have nearly fell into that kind of depressive state. I mean, did you feel that way, or was it more kind of you just want to?
I was more like numb, but then I was thinking just the New York state of mind. I better watch my back. I don't know if you see if you see the series, the document of Hector Camacho. The same friend that he had walking around from the taxi man was shot as well. So Puerto Rico, I mean, I don't know if it's more than what really happened. There's more to it. I don't want to know. I just want to keep pushing forward and telling people, you know, gloves up, guns down. Like stop, you know.
Okay.
And urging the youth, man, to be better, to do better.
I like it. And that's a really good way of looking at things because I know that, you know, things like that can seriously engulf your life. You see people with PTSD and loads of crazy stuff. So I can only imagine how much that affected your life.
And then everywhere I go, I get stopped. I love your father. He was great. So it's a constant reminder every day. So I just keep myself, if I was him, it's my time to keep pushing forward. You know, keep going forward. Don't stop. I have a mission, you know, and that's what I keep going. But it's hard, man. You know, it's hard. You lose anybody, a parent, a mother, a father. The mother who carried you for 9 months of your belly, you lose her. Today, Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to moms out here in America. You know, it's tough, man. We in a time that we really need our parents. We in bad times. It ain't the same generation before. The respect ain't there no more. You know, I put the blame on the parents, the young parents now, you know. We live in this crazy world, but yeah, you know.
Absolutely.
Macho was a real underdog story. Came from nothing. Made to the White House, United States, with President Reagan. That's the American dream. That makes me feel like anything's possible. He came from the project, a young blow, a young lad from the streets, full of crime, full of drug-infested streets. Went to jail. They said, listen, your last shot. Boxing, make a change, or you're going to be in jail forever. And my man made a change. He made it to the White House. Hall of Famer. Anything's possible. That's the message.
Unbelievable.
Dream big, my friend. Dream big.
Inspirational stuff, mate. And obviously that's definitely rubbed off on you and going through this traumatic experience and then still trying to push on. I want to push it in a positive manner. There's a reason why I've spoke about that at this point in the conversation is because you're really trying to make a change. So you saw there with Hector Camacho way, I believe. Tell us a little bit about that series. What's going on there? Because that looks absolutely awesome.
Special thanks to Ronald Johnson, CEO of Intrabox, the organizer of the Macho Cup, executive producer of Bally's Sports of the Macho Camacho way. And this is something we want to put together. Macho got fans across the world. One of his biggest fans is from the UK, Glenn Warbrough, my brother. So he got fans across the world, and people who can't make it to the Macho Camacho streaming name. You can see it live on Bally's, but not see it live, but see it a month after on Bally's Sports. So you can share that moment, share that celebration day with us. So that's cool. It's been a lot of work. We're putting this together. Nothing's easy. When you want to do something great, it takes a great team behind it. So special thanks to Ronald Johnson, the team, the boxing gym, X Boxing Gym. It's a lot of moving parts, man, that play the whole the Camacho family, the James Weldon Johnson Community Center, the community Macho Camacho is from. So, it's going to be a day of celebration, a weekend of celebration. I'm looking forward to it.
What I really wanted to learn a lot about, Hector, was your foundation, your charity, and what you're trying to do and achieve there. And I want the stage to be yours here. Tell us all about where people can donate. Tell us a little bit more about what you're trying to achieve and make a real difference.
My whole thing is pushing forward, pushing for the youth. The only exit plan I know is boxing, because boxing, changed my father's life, changed my life. So that's like an exit sport. You put your kids in sports after school and they tired, they don't want to hang out, they want to go to sleep. So I push these things in the Macho Foundation. I'm always push forward, giving kids an opportunity, giving them hope it's possible. This is like the second event we do with Macho Foundation. A special thanks again to my other partner, and on Blessings, Kevin Oliver, who's helping out. Just passing the word, man. Gloves up, guns down. Getting kids off the streets, and through boxing, changing lives, exit, and that's what we're really pushing.
I like that.
Getting kids off the street, waking them up, sending them a message, anything possible. Macho, the Macho Cup be held in the James Weldon Johnson Project, which is the same building that Macho Camacho was raised. So my message is, if the Macho Man do it, you could do it. Like, what's the excuse? So that's what we're doing. Pass it down dream come May 18th.
So the same building is that your father made himself really something, from nothing. That's where you're staging the Macho Cup. Yeah,
that's the start of it. Yes, I plan to take this nationwide. This is a crisis that's needed over America. Just pass the word. We partner up with great people, man. Especially thanks to my sponsor too, D'Angelo, Border City Music Group. Kevin Oliver with the Don Blessings. We put a great team together just to push this. We all fight the same fight together. So something I'm looking forward to do.
Love it. Got some love coming in here. So Leslie Webb said, "Hi Hector, thanks for coming on the show. Your dad was fantastic and from an era enjoyed by many. Stay safe, Hector." Great man, Leslie. Respect Macho for sharing such a tragic part of your life, and much love and thoughts to your late father, to you and your family. Cheers, Leslie. That's very good of you, mate. Paul Driscoll at ringside. Camacho would be hugging his fans as they were lined up, making kids and adults feel special. He had that inside him to give back. I mean, that is unreal.
That's true. See, people know that the antics, the Macho Man, the outfits, but inside all, he was a great man. He's like a young kid, full of energy, full of love. We're working on another Macho Man project coming out soon. So also, explain to the fans who is Macho Camacho. Because we only see us boxers for about 30 minutes, 10 rounds. Once the fight's finished, we don't see him again until 4 or 5 months. But we don't know who the person is. I want the world to know who was Macho Camacho, what love he gave to people, why he's so known, why he's so loved throughout the world.
That's why I do this show. That's just the reason why. My slogan of this show is bringing the fighters to the fans. Now, and I say this all the time, I've spoken to the legends, the biggest fighters who've ever put on gloves, and people don't know the human behind them people. It's just the macho. It's not the real person, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this. Now, what I want to do for you now, I want to talk about the current state of boxing. Do you follow boxing in general these days?
I do. Not like I once did, but I definitely do. These young lads are making boxing exciting. They are.
Absolutely. So a big thing at the moment is influencer boxing. So you've got, the KSIs, the Jake Pauls, all these guys, Logan Pauls. What's your opinion on influencer boxing? Is it good? Is it bad for the sport? What's your opinion?
At first I was against it. Then I started thinking about it. I said, you know what? These guys do work to put butts in seats. That wakes us boxers up. Like, we gotta do more. We gotta market ourselves more. We gotta promote ourselves more. The name of the game is putting butts in seats. And you can't get mad that YouTubers are doing it. They know what to do. They know what it takes to market it. So, hey, I mean, it's bringing another set of crowd to boxing. Hey. But the real fans, the real boxing fans, we crave for those big fights. We crave for boxing fights. And I felt the young fighters are giving it to us. The Tank Davis, the Teofimo Lopez, the Josh Taylors. Like they put these big fights on, man. And, a lot of skills is involved. I think we're the perfect. They said boxing is dying sport. No, I think on the contrary, it's rising back up. Thanks to young folks putting, they record on the line, their career on the line, and we're about to own their records. And that's what's missing in boxing.
I agree. I think the biggest thing about boxing at the moment is that the people are getting paid a lot of money for people who don't really know how to fight. Whereas people are getting just as frustrated with people who definitely know how to fight. Tyson Furies, the Joshuas, the Usyks, the Wilders of the world, who just don't want to fight. And I think that basically, let's say, elevates that feeling of disappointment, really. I think that's the main thing. I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but I don't think I've ever seen something so ridiculous in my entire life. There was two influencers, one Boogie something, and was it Wings? Two gamers fighting. Now, I swear to God, I don't ever do this, and I've never done this my entire career. I'll fight any of them tomorrow. Honestly, they were about 35 stone each. They were massive. It was embarrassing. And listen, if you want to do that, fair enough. Listen, I'm not weight shaming. I used to be 33.5 stone. But the truth of it is that's dangerous. None of them trained. And the other guy was just getting punched in the face. It was absolutely horrendous. Now, is this a circus? What we doing? Do you know what I mean? Because I don't know what you think about that, but that's dangerous. That's too far for me.
You know what? Most of the boxing fan favorite fighter, Floyd Mayweather, started this. But Floyd was not in a position. Like, he done what he had to do in boxing. He could have done this, He achieved a lot in boxing. But it kind of watered down the game. Then again, you have a market for this. People are watching these things. So I mean, it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say where we at, in the boxing world. As long as these big name fighters, fight each other and put boxing back on the map, the Spencer, the Crawford fights, like the Tank Davis, the Wendell Haney, and these fights get made, then boxing's okay. But when you start letting these YouTubers in and these fighters don't want to fight, because boxing no longer is a sport, it's more of a business.
Oh, 100%.
And that's the kind of stuff we have in boxing now.
I honestly think the only time this will stop is when someone gets seriously hurt. And I hope to God that day doesn't happen. But I honestly feel that's what it's going to take. Some YouTuber who hasn't got a clue, or just like what's happened in some of these white collar fights, some got in there like they're the next world champion. And the truth of it is they don't know how to protect themselves. Most of the time, I mean, I've actually fought white collar, and I can tell you firsthand that I didn't even have medical for it. I jumped in main event against who's a good kid, to be fair, really good kid.
Oh,
but
dangerous.
Yeah, it was. He was a good kid, very big, very big. Did very good fight actually. But I didn't even have medical. This was after my amateur career. So it's madness. It's absolutely scary. Moving on to other times. So also in the news is Canelo. So Canelo now is, I believe, 30 32 years of age. He's been boxing now since he's 15 years old, and then recently beat and fought John Ryder. In a lackluster, in my opinion, performance. He put him down a couple of times. Do you think, though, in your opinion, and no disrespect to Canelo, he's a great champion, one of the best that Mexico have ever produced, in my opinion. But the truth of it is, do you feel he's in a bit of a decline now?
You know, Canelo, the body work he put into boxing is amazing. He fought everybody. Look at his list. He fought who was who during his time. I don't see what else more he could do to achieve in boxing besides become heavyweight champion. But I don't see what else he could, what else more he could do for himself in the boxing career. Like I say, he's ranked one of the greatest Mexican fighters ever. In the short span of his career, to put a lot of work he put into it. So, I mean, Canelo's great. I feel when you start feeling you declining, it's time for you to know when to say bye to the game. Like I say, I don't know what else you could achieve in boxing. But then again, it's funny because not every fight gonna look good at every fight. Boxing doesn't work like that. No matter how good you are, you're not gonna look good every fight. That's rare. People like Floyd Mayweather, those are rare incidents that a fighter going there just pitch a shot every time. Like you don't see those kind of things. Like pitching a no-hit in baseball. Floyd Mayweather done that because he's great. His boxing skills, ability. Canelo has improved in his boxing ability. We've seen the growth of Canelo big time, the rise. I mean, tremendous fighter. But what else more can he give us? He's going up too high to fight these guys, big guys.
I completely agree.
Can he give us? We want the Benavidez fight. We want the Charlo fights. You know what I mean? But he's in that position to call the shots. He is the cash cow.
He is. He is. And for me, I think the best thing, and I've said this a number of times now, but the best thing that ever happened to Canelo is losing to Mayweather at that young time of his career. Because if you look at Canelo before he fought Mayweather, he was a lot more offensive. If you look at his defensive skills, he clearly took something from that fight and made him a better fighter. But the question I've got for you, Hector, is do you feel that any version of Canelo would ever beat Mayweather?
That's a really tough one. Floyd's one of the rare fighters, and I appreciate Floyd Mayweather now throughout the years when you look back and see. It's a tough one to call. It's tough to say because Floyd is a genius in that ring. His boxing IQ is high. To beat Floyd, you gotta be sharp. You gotta have good boxing IQ. You gotta be fast. Canelo do possess those kind of things, but during the time they fought, he was too raw. It's hard to say. If Canelo now would be a Mayweather, it's hard to match these kind of fighters. Like in fantasy fights, it's hard to say. Different eras, different fighters. It's really tough to say. But as far as IQ, boxing, Floyd one of the highest boxing IQs I've seen in boxing, besides the Macho Man. But high IQ.
Completely agree. I do agree. And this is one I feel personally to say. It's something I've put out there into the press very, very recently and YouTube. And we're talking about Manny Pacquiao. And I've got a massive amount of respect for Manny Pacquiao. I know him and his team. And the truth of it is, people keep saying that Manny Pacquiao, this younger version of Manny Pacquiao, would have beaten Mayweather. I was out in Vegas maybe 5 or 6 years before, maybe 6, 7 years before Mayweather fought Pacquiao, and I remember speaking to a bartender in one of these big casinos, and I'm saying, listen, I'm telling you straight, Mayweather will beat Manny Pacquiao 100 times out of 100. I don't see Pacquiao ever beating Mayweather, but that's just my opinion, and I respect everybody else's. But do you feel that any version of Pacquiao would have beaten Mayweather, or do you think Mayweather's just always would have had Manny Pacquiao's, let's say, number?
Yeah, I was in Las Vegas about 2 years ago, maybe a little less than a year and a half ago. And I went to Floyd gym. I went to get a workout on and get some fat off me. Not to fight, just get some fat off me. When I went to the gym, I see Floyd come in. He started training. I finished my workout. I told Floyd bye. I went to the Chinese store, across the street, went to eat. Went for a little walk, went back to the gym. Floyd Mayweather was still training. I said, God damn, this is why he's great. No fight coming up. No fight coming up. This is why he is great.
Unbelievable.
Not a question. I trained, went to eat, went for a walk. He still was in there working out, man. I mean, we got a fighter with that kind of IQ, who was born in boxing, who lived boxing. Hey, it's tough to be a thinking fighter. We just set traps on you all day, set traps. We slow up the pace in a fight. You know, in a boxing fight, you have no time to think. But we are thinking fighters. We find time to think. And those are dangerous fighters. They can set up, you know, take a step back and set you up. You gotta come forward. Boxing gotta make sense, Dan. If I take a step back as a boxer, you gotta take a step forward to engage. Those little things. Boxing has to make sense. So Floyd's a master when it comes down to his high IQ when it comes down to boxing.
Absolutely. And I will put something out there to everybody. Make sure you keep all your comments coming in. Paul Driscoll, thanks for all your comments. I can see, yeah, absolutely was dangerous as far as these big guys. Mayweather was almost 40 years old when he fought. Absolutely was older than Manny Pacquiao. So thanks for your comments. Make sure you keep your comments coming in. Gavin, thanks for joining there in the background, mate. I hope you're well, buddy. You're probably going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to bring in Kevin and then Tim on. So if you want to shoot off, I can send you a message if you want to come on and save you 15 minutes and I'll bring you on. So for me, from my end, Floyd Mayweather is people say who's the best fighter of all time. Now, I've got my opinions. I think maybe Sugar Ray Robinson's up there. I think that even Lennox Lewis is up there. I think that Jimmy Wilde, the Welsh fighter's up there. I think there's many fighters that you can. Muhammad Ali is up there, but still is he up there? But he did a lot more for boxing. But was he the best? Maybe not on the grand scale of things. But I think you almost have to argue against the fact that Muhammad Ali isn't the best ever, rather than argue that he is. Does that make sense? Because there's too many reasons why he is. He had the best defense. He fought the most amount of fighters. I think it was world champions in a row in their prime. I mean, would you agree with that? Would you say that he's definitely within, let's say, the first top 3 ever?
Yeah, when I list fighters as great, I base them off what they meant to the sport. What Muhammad Ali meant to the sport, the stand he took outside the ring, the person he was, his charisma, his character inside the ring. Muhammad got to be in the tops. I mean, there's a lot of great talented fighters out there. They won't make the list. I can tell you when I was spoken to yesterday, Junior Jones. Junior Jones is an excellent fighter. Probably one of the best fighters in his days when he was fighting. But he probably won't make that list as pound best, one of the greats. It's what you put into the sport of boxing, what you mean to the sport of boxing. The Roberto Duran, no matter how many years go on, the Lomas will live on forever. No matter how many years you live on, this thing like a butterfly, fly like a bee, will always.
His blessings and kept his comfort.
Those kind of things is a whole what they meant. The Putasima men. And it's funny you say about Lennox Lewis. Easily one of the greatest heavyweights. Easily. Doesn't get the credit he deserved. Easily. He fought everybody. Easily.
I agree. There's a good case for him to be the best heavyweight ever.
It's tough to rate fighters, you know? I mean, then you got to think about how long would Floyd would have done in the 80s with these fighters. It's almost unfair. Each fighter was great during their time. While Floyd had done in boxing, no other fighter would ever do again. The numbers, the pay-per-view, the money, that's just separately. You know, Floyd best. You can put him in one of the best categories for what he has done in the sport of boxing. But like I said, there's a man called Hector Camacho, born in Puerto Rico, went to America, lived the American dream, spoke no English, and about 90% of boxers wear Hector Camacho boxing trunks today. So it's the handprint they believe in boxing. I'll put Muhammad Ali ranked in one of the best. Sugar Ray Leonard was a killer. Sugar Ray Leonard was a killer, a great fighter, a boxer, a slugger, a warrior. I mean, it's a lot to say who was the best. It's a lot.
I love it. I love how passionate you are. I want to bring on your partner now, Kevin. I want you to bring you on just to be part of that absolutely awesome rant because I love boxing. It gets me it gets me going. So Hector, I'm absolutely in the same page as you there. So Kevin is a partner of Hector, doing fantastic things. I saw a documentary very, very recently about the effects of fentanyl, which is basically, and I'm hoping we'll be able to speak to him more now, about it's some form of synthetic heroin that's really, really strong, that's basically killing kids, killing people left, right, and center. So hopefully I can keep your signal here, Kevin. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing, mate?
Sure. I mean, virtually it's just about awareness. we want people to realize and look at what's really going on, because it's the number one killer right now from the years of 18 to 46 years old. The number one killer, fentanyl and opiates. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's taking lives, changing families, and we're here for awareness. I mean, we want everybody to realize that you got to start talking to your children, because we're losing so many children over, you have, the easiest way to put it, when they go to school, you want them to know not to take a pill. I mean, it's all coming in press form, and that press form they think is a half a Xanax. Guess what? It's not. It was fentanyl, and they're dead, and it's happening all over the nation.
It's madness. You were also mentioning about gun crime a little bit earlier. You've been through a huge amount of issues, and your family even had brushed you with gun crime, which I suppose these kind of things, especially out in America, go hand in hand. Tell us a little bit about kind of your, very briefly, your relationship with that.
I lost my mom to gun violence when I was in first grade. Just lost my son, Andon Joe Oliver, in 21 to gun violence. He was 17. The person that shot him was 16 years old, and he just went through trial, and his out date is 2069. Children killing children. The number one thing that kills our children right now, guess what it is? It's gun violence. Number one. Bigger than cancer, bigger than everything out there right now. The number one killer of our kids is gun violence. So it's, we're trying to preach about awareness and talk to the mothers, talk to the fathers, let them know that you've got to talk to your children. You got to make sure that the people they're running with aren't packing heat. It's some of those decisions that, if they don't get talked to right by their parents, they could be another statistic. And that's what we don't want. That's what we're trying to go against. What we're trying to help is to show awareness and what to do and how to do it.
I like it. And of course, you see there at the back, stoppingfentanyl.com and stoppinggunviolence.com.
Yes, sir.
A question from a Brit, okay, coming to you guys, because I said some of my best friends are out in Texas. I go out there commentating, they're some of my best mates. And it's alien to me. And don't get me wrong, I've shot many guns, always in, controlled ranges, or even on the, and in the, what do they call them, the fields, that kind of thing, against the target. But when you've got people 12-year-old, and again, I would have said something to you a little bit earlier on. I commentated on a guy's fight over in Texas, a guy called John Van Mate. He was only 24 years age. He had kids. He was a great guy, really nice guy. I interviewed him after the fight. I came home, I think it was like 2 months later, a young lad, a 12-year-old lad, broke in his house and shot him in the head and killed the fighter. It's just absolute mad. Over here, you're lucky if you can get away with holding a spoon without someone trying to lock you up. I mean, why is it such a massive thing in America that you have to have a gun?
I don't think there's a problem with having a gun. I think it's the problem we have is the parents aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that's putting the guns up so nobody can grab them. I mean, you have 11-year-old kids that can't go buy a gun. Where are they getting the guns from? I mean, you can get them in the streets now for $100. But, when they walk into, there was a child that was, I think, 11 years old that killed his mom. He went in the bedroom, picked up a gun off the bed, walked back out and killed his mom over her not buying him a game. I mean, that's the statistics. I mean, people have to realize that they need to know what to do with their gun. They need to put it up. They need to lock it up. And they need to talk to their children. Simply put.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of it does come from parenting. It does. And to Hector and Kevin, where can we kind of find these charities? Where can, potentially people donate these charities to? We'll also put a link in a little bit later for people watching back, and I'll also do that to each interview that I break down and cut down. We understand that everybody can watch live. So
Sure.
Where can we kind of donate? Where can we do this?
The Macho Foundation is what we need to donate to. I mean, he is going out there and doing things. He's incredible. We're going to get these kids away from the guns and get them back in the boxing rings. Give them something to do. If they can't afford it, guess what? That's what we're going to attempt to do. We're going to start putting these kids back in the gym. If they can't afford it, we can afford it. That's what we want. That's what we want. We want to give them a route. You can go to stoppingfentanyl.com and get some stats on that. That's one of my pages, or stoppinggunviolence.com. Those are the two things I advocate for: is awareness, trying to teach the parents what to do, how to do it, and just start watching, start looking, pay attention.
Good on you, mate.
My foundation is what we're fighting to help.
Absolutely love it. Guys, I just want to say from my end, just a massive thank you for everything that you're doing, because it's serious. It's so serious. People are dying. Kids are dying over a game. It's madness. It's just crazy. To me, it's like it's another world. Just put them down. Put your knives. We get a problem over here with knife. But like I said to you a little bit earlier on, I nearly got stabbed. And if I wanted to have my two guys, and if I couldn't fight, then I'd be dead now. So I get it, but put your fists up and put your guns and your knives down. Stop being babies. Thanks for coming on the show, guys. I really appreciate you coming on. Hector, love you to bits. And Kevin, it's been fantastic
man. Boxing TV #1.
Deborah, Kelly, Brittany, Jerry, thank you so much for what you're doing for Anna's Blessings. We love you. Have a good day.
Cheers,
Thanks
guys.
for the platform, my friend.
Oh, yeah, fantastic people. And do you know what? It's people like that don't get enough credit. They just don't get enough credit for working hard, stopping gun violence, stopping people dying. It's absolute madness. So I've got to bring on my next guest now, who's been patiently waiting back in the studio in the green room, Mr. Tim Witherspoon. Now, me and Tim, we met each other weirdly. In fact, I'll bring him on and we'll talk about it when I bring him on because I love this guy. Mr. Tim Witherspoon, two-time heavyweight world champion and lovely guy in general. How are you?
I'm fine. Glad to be on the show.
Pleasure is absolutely all mine. It really is. I was just saying, me and you spoke a little bit earlier on, and I actually met you in a toilet in Stoke about 15 years ago. When we went to see Mike Tyson, and we saw you, and it was both myself and my best friend. And it was weird because since then, how lives can change. Of course, I'm doing my boxing media stuff, which is exploding. My best friend is now a champion boxer himself. And now I'm talking to someone who I thought, oh, he's this guy so big, but he's so lovely. You're just a really, really nice guy. And it's a pleasure. It really is a pleasure to bring you on the show, Tim. So
thank you.
Talking about you, I mean, you had massive 55 wins in your career, two-time heavyweight world champion, absolutely unbelievable scenes, absolute scenes. But I want to learn more about kind of you and your career. And again, everybody, make sure you keep your comments coming in. This is your chance to ask a two-time world heavyweight champion a question. Don't waste it. You can tell your grandkids that you asked him this. Make sure you put your comments coming in. And everybody, make sure you share. You're going to be in with a chance of winning some merchandise a little bit later in the stream. So, Tim, boxing, what a sport. But what was your first memory of boxing?
First memory. I think about boxing all the time. My first memory. I think about all boxing. I think about in the beginning, I think during, in the middle, I think about the end part of it. I've been really blessed to be around the greatest of all times, Muhammad Ali, and even being like champion. I'm still eating it up right now. I was two-time heavyweight champion of the world. So there's a lot of different. As a matter of fact, in my neighborhood, people they like Timmy. Because I wasn't a guy to go out and beat a guy up I wasn't violent. I played other sports. And so people was like doubting Timmy fighting. And that's what made me push even more, because a lot of people they liked me, but they was like, Timmy, I don't believe that. Timmy, this nice little old guy like that. But it's a sport. It's not something you should be afraid of or scared of. It's a sport. So that's the way I viewed it, as catching a touchdown or hitting a home run. I played all those kind of sports. So, I was pretty comfortable getting involved with the boxing game.
I love it. Got something going in from the American Boxing Association. Champ, wanted exhibition with you, Tim. Wonder who that is.
Well, I've been in shape. I've been training every day. I've been going to the gym. I've been going to the gym, training, hitting the hammer, been running. I've been really trying to get a job with some of these guys that need help with skills and stuff, because I'm very good at skills. Nowadays boxers don't know who got good skills at teaching and who don't. But when I was young, there was a lot of good old trainers around. They had the old knowledge. And you didn't have to go that far to get it, but a lot of them passed away. And if you didn't get that knowledge, you kind of like, it's hard to find. There's very few people that have it, like the Philly Shell and all that. I was born and raised a couple of blocks from where Sylvester Stallone made the movie. at the Italian market. My gym, South Philly. My gym was right there with the Italian market where they made the movie. And then I went on to become the real 2-time heavyweight champ from Philly. And I was born in South Philly where they made the movie. So I was around boxing, but I didn't want to do it until I got older. You know,
I read somewhere that you thought that the Rocky film may even have been a reflection of your own life.
Well, it was a reflection of the boxer name from upstate. What's his name? Chuck Webner. Chuck Webner. But they made that movie. But the movie, really, I did the things that he actually done in the movies. He went to the Italian market. My mom took me and my siblings to the Italian market. We only lived 10 minutes away from there. She used to buy groceries, and then used to come home, you know, and then go to the Italian market every like 4 days and buy stuff. And then I went on to become the real 2-time heavyweight champ of the world. Okay. The Italian market was an Italian neighborhood. I lived around Irish and Italians, and you know, the blacks and Hispanics was in the middle. So it was unique. It was fun. And now that I'm looking back, I'm saying, you know what? I'm really the real 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. And how did they make them? How did they know about? They made the movie exactly what I was doing. My mom took me to the market. We waved at people and went home. So I was like, wow, they need to do something. They need to do something for, you know, bring that out. They need to let people know that I was going to the market too, just like you did in the movie.
That's awesome. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Unreal. So you were also a sparring partner for arguably the greatest boxer of all time. The legendary, needs no introduction, the legendary Muhammad Ali. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Wow, Muhammad Ali was the greatest. So we only lived like an hour and a half away from Muhammad Ali's training camp in Philly. So we just get on the highway and we go this hour and a half. So I was a sparring partner for Matthew Saad Muhammad, who was a light heavyweight champ, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, who was a light heavyweight champ, and they would rent the camp out. You know, Ali would have retired and went somewhere. So one day we were at the camp, and these cars pulled up in there, and it was Ali. Ali jumped out the car. You know, he saw us sparring. Everything stopped when Ali came in. Everything stopped. We started talking to him. Then I finished sparring. And then he said to me, he said, Tim, I'm getting ready to fight Larry Holmes. I want to hire you as a sparring partner. So I was like, wow, so everybody's just following him around. And I was like crazy because I only had a couple of professional fights. And he asked me that was the beginning of our relationship. I'm not saying I know him for the rest of my whole life. But I did have some periods of time with him. We flew to Indonesia. He was with me. I was with him rather. And different times I fought, he came to see me fight. I felt really privileged at that point. I felt really good about that.
Absolutely. I mean, what was he like in person? I mean, I've spoke to many fighters before, but I want to know what your relationship. I spoke to Larry Holmes really recently, talking about how he was crazy. It was like, come on, I'm bad. I'm the great. What was he really like?
He was the greatest. He didn't walk around with no jewelry on. I don't think he had money in his pocket. He always had a tissue with saliva snot on it. He used to come out and blow his nose. He never talked about money. He never talked about putting partying. He talked about Allah. He talked about God. He talked about helping people. He's a true champion. He never had jewelry around his neck. He never praised about money. That's what makes a champion also. You don't praise about that stuff and brag about it and post it on TV. I'm not jealous of anybody, but I really respect the greatest of all time. That's what makes him the greatest. And then when he went against the government about fighting against somebody that's millions of miles away that never did nothing to him, that's the kind of things that made him the greatest of all times. And if he was still living, he would straighten out this boxing industry. He would make sure that all the commissions and everybody would fall in line to set in the proper way. Ali would really change boxing today if he still was here today. So I really was happy of the fact that I was with him, and he didn't show no money. Like I said before, money, jewelry, or bragged about things.
Yeah.
That's what made him the greatest.
A question for you here. It wasn't on my list actually, but it's a really good point. So, of course, we all know that Muhammad Ali refused to go to war. I believe it was Vietnam.
Yes. Yes.
Time's moved on a lot since then.
Didn't the Vietnam people hurt him? Why should he go fight them?
So do you feel he was right? Do you feel he was right?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going. Because a lot of people thought he betrayed his country. So do you feel he was right?
Well, the country betrayed a lot of people. And and it's obvious that the country did a lot to a lot of different people. You just got to check the history out. You know what I'm saying? I love America. I was born here. I just don't like the things that happen here. I do love people, everybody here. And you talked about guns in the last sessions. We talking about getting the kids to stop shooting the guns. We need to stop the people with all the money that's bringing the guns in. That's who we need to talk to. Now, Hector and the other guy was talking about the problem with kids shooting each other. That's not the problem. Is how those guns got there. Now, you think a kid in the neighborhood got enough money to bring 1 million guns in here? No.
Fair point.
Somebody's putting the drugs there. They putting the drugs. They putting the guns there. And how we gonna fight each other, argue with each other about us killing each other when somebody else is creating a problem? So they didn't talk about that guy. The guy that was on there talked about the gun. Well, I let my family, ain't none of my kids gonna have. You're gonna have a gun for protection if you're old enough. You can because of that. But the real problem is somebody in this country is scared, and they're allowing people to carry guns and kill each other. I don't know if it's population control, whatever it is, but we don't need those guns. I was in the UK. Now, knives can cut you and hurt you. They can cut you just as bad. But there's no guns over there. No. There's no guns and stuff like that. So they talked about that, but the real problem is where they get those guns. Don't no poor black people or Hispanics got enough money to buy 1 million guns. That's what we should be addressing this to, not the person to the person that gets killed and the person that shot him. Yes, we need that, but where are the guns coming from? A lot of these people don't have enough money to buy a gun. Yeah, so they need to address the problem to the correct people.
They're almost trying to mend the after effects rather than the cause.
Yeah. Oh, you shoot somebody. They need to put that gun down or keep the kid away from it. No, the kid shouldn't even be around the gun. And if you're a senior, you should have that gun hidden somewhere. Somebody's scared in this country. That's why allowing these people going around with all these guns and shooting each other. And it's definitely not the poor people. It's definitely not the poor people. There's somebody in this country that's afraid, and that's why they want these guns and stuff around. So that's just my opinion. They were going attacking regular everyday people, which is wrong. Well, they wasn't really being upset about it. What I'm saying is that they're mentioning on this here show that the kid shouldn't shoot the other kid. They didn't mention nothing about where them guns coming from. That's where we got to stop. And you got a lot of senior people, a lot of, I'm not going to say what type of people, you got people with money, they want the guns. A lot of people with money, they want the guns, and they want the guns here. Maybe they want to control the populations. Oh, yeah, put them guns over in that area, put them drugs in them area. Yeah, some will go to jail, some will die. So you got to really dig down deep about this gun situation and drugs. Do you think a poor person got enough money to bring a whole 100 kilos to this town? No. Do he got enough pull to get those drugs past the boundary where there's police at? No. Don't know poor average black or Puerto Rican or they have poor white people that's in the same situation. They don't have enough money to do all that. So you got to address the issue where really the issue is. I understand there's people killing each other, but how did they get the guns? How did they get the drugs? So that's what should be talked about.
Yeah, I agree.
That should be talked about.
That's a really good way of looking at it. I never really thought of it in that way, to be fair.
No, that's what it is. Ain't no poor people got enough money to bring 1,000 guns in the neighborhood and stuff like that.
No,
Yeah.
I like it. Moving on to your career,
Okay.
then. I mean, listen, I can rant like nobody's business. Trust me. Especially, I was saying the other day I had a whiskey just because I felt a little bit, I don't know, a bit deflated. I was like, I went mad at delete off the stream because like, so you trust me, I'm exactly the same as you. But
Okay.
you turned pro in 1970.
But I love everybody.
yeah, absolutely.
No, seriously. Go
I know
ahead.
you do. I know you do. Don't worry. It's no effect on your character. Absolutely not.
Okay.
So you went pro in 1979. You won your first 15 fights on the bounce, and then you came up against the legendary Larry Holmes, who I've got a lot of respect for. And you took a loss against Larry Holmes, but it wasn't all doom and gloom. You took a lot of respect from that fight, didn't you? Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. Listen, I didn't even know I was going to make it that far. You know, I was an amateur. I had 7 wins. I lost 2 of them. I lost to Joe Frazier, Marvis Frazier's son, my last fight. I only was fighting for 8 months, and then they turned like a year maybe, and they turned me pro. And here I am fighting professional. I had a great trainer, Slim Jim Robinson, who really was behind me 100%. Then we winning all these fights. You know, majority of them by knockouts and some by decisions. So now we're gonna fight the great Larry Holmes, and I'm in training, and Slim and my trainer, my manager came over and said, Tim, I think we can get a fight with Larry Holmes, and I said, "Oh, ain't that a little too soon?" I said it to my trainer, and my trainer turned around and said, "Tim, you're gonna kick his ass," and I said, I went like this, and I said, "Okay, let's go." So I believed in my trainer. And that's what made me, really wanted to fight and push, because everybody respected Slim. He had skills. He taught me everything I know, and he gave me the confidence. So going into the ring with Larry Holmes, I had fun. If I had about 3 or 4 more fights, I think I could have knocked him out. And if you look at the fight, you can see where I was green. But I was determined to beat this great Larry Holmes. I was determined to beat him.
Absolutely. Darker forces were at play during your career. You were, for me, as well as over in the UK, you were well known for beating Frank Bruno in his first attempt, I believe, at a world title. What I want to ask you here is, because I know Don King is always being this shadow above a lot of. I'm not going to go into too much, but
no, we can a little bit.
Cool. Let's do it then. So you got paid something like 95 grand for.
It was real quick. It was $500,000, and then he took out all these expenses, and I went home with like 90. I went home with 90. Yeah.
Wow, really? So
and I paid all my people. I paid all my people too.
And you walked away with 95 grand out of $500,000.
Yep. I didn't even know what I was getting when I flew over to fight Frank Bruno. When we was in the airplane, Tim Witherspoon didn't know how much he was getting. When I was on that airplane heading over to London, I didn't even know how much I was getting. That's how bad it was. I didn't know. I had to figure out. When they gave me the check. That's when I was like, wow, 90,000. I figured I would get like 800, maybe $1 million, maybe 800,000 or something like that. 500. Yeah. But I went home, and a lot of my people, my entourage, didn't believe me. I had to pay everybody. I didn't even know how much money I was getting when I was on an airplane over there.
What's your feelings then on Don King? Because, listen, I don't really know. I'm not. But all I can say is I never hear great things. You know, I always hear that he was almost a villain in the sport of boxing, and I know he's still around. So, you know, tell me what your experience was like. What did he do to you? How was there any bad things that you saw?
Well, I think he was the greatest promoter that I think that ever lived. He was, in terms of creating. He was a guy that created in the press conferences, he was so colorful. He would speak out. He was very good at promoting the fight. But when it came to paying certain boxers, he was on the bottom. But he was the best, I think. And here I am, a guy that got ripped off big time about Don King. I'm talking about him. He was the most colorful. He had more energy. He was a guy that everybody wanted to promote his show. But in the long term, in the end of it, he took your money. Certain people money. If you had a manager, he negotiated a different way. But in my situation, my manager. I'm switching back and forth. My manager, real quick, Mark Stewart, him and about 5 other guys, they had a group. We had a group, managing group, and they got caught selling drugs, and that's how we got sold to Don King. We were winning every fight. We had cars, we had money, we were doing good, and then when they got busted, that's how we got with Don King. He said, "Yeah, Don King would be the best promoter for you." We didn't want to go. But we had to go because my promoter he passed away, but he went to jail. My manager, Mark Stewart, was his name. But if you type in Larry Levin, he was a dentist, and they were selling kilos, and we didn't know it. So every time we walk into the office, we see. Well, I wonder why everybody was doing this. The secretary was like, and everybody sniffing. I was wondering why. And even like all the other boxers, like, I wonder why, and then we found out later. But like I said, I think Don King is the best, most colorful, but in terms of business, I think it was he didn't do the proper things for the boxers and everything. And we had like Dennis Rappaport. He treated me so good. That was Jerry Cooney's him. Mark Stewart was good. Let me see. I was the other guys. They were all treating me good, man. And I saw what I was missing. With Don King. So like I said, I'm going on with my life. I'm happy now. I don't want to keep talking about Don King. A lot of people know about him. If I keep on bringing him up and talking about him, I can't live the rest of my life. I'm happy now. My daughter from Tottenham is here with me. I have other daughters. I got 4 more daughters and my son. Now, real quick, Hector Camacho was talking about his dad and stuff and angry. Now, I got a son named Tim Witherspoon Jr., and we had bumped heads. And he got a son named Tim Witherspoon III. Yeah. So there's 3 generations, 3 generations for the first time in history. But we don't communicate that much, me and my son. We don't communicate. He loved me and I love him, but we don't communicate. I hope everything will pull out pretty good, because just to be the first time 3 generations of being in the corner with the same name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim Witherspoon III. He's Cambodian and American.
Wow.
And he's about 6 foot. He's 16 and he's my height.
I thought he might be somehow. He's got the genes.
Yeah, now, he's 6. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's amazing. This is incredible. Don't ever say sorry for speaking about your family. I expected him to be huge anyway, because you're like, right, beast. Like I say, I remember seeing you in the toilets. I was like, wow, this guy's a big guy. You're just so lovely.
Listen, my trainer is my trainer that gave me the confidence. It's my trainer that taught me how to do the so-called Philly shell that everybody's trying to do. The Philly shell. We have some guys from Uzbekistan. I'm getting ready to go see them Wednesday. They want to get taught the defense. See, I had a really good defense. Okay. I don't know why Anthony Joshua or any of those guys didn't call me so I could show them defense, because that's all Anthony Joshua need was confidence, a good defense, a good jab, and somebody to show him how to slip punches. His legacy would still be here. He would still be champ. Okay, I would have him looking really good, no knockouts. Deontay Wilder the same way. All Deontay Wilder got is that right hand, and if he tightened everything else up, he would still be undefeated. Tyson Fury got plenty of heart. And that's why I respect Tyson Fury. Got plenty of heart. He's like Frank Sinatra. I did it my way. And he does everything his way. And that's what I respect about Tyson Fury. I was with him also.
I like it. And to be honest, that leads perfectly then on to my next question. So we're going to talk about the current state of play within heavyweight boxing, specifically talking to the two-time heavyweight champion of the world.
Okay.
I think it's pretty fitting. So I released a video the other day talking about this huge event that's been spoke about very positively for Saudi Arabia at the end of the year. Tyson Fury against Alexander Usyk, and also Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder. I think something like 252, 253 million between them four fighters. Absolutely crazy money. Starting with the first one with Usyk and Tyson Fury, who do you feel wins? And can Usyk deal with the size of Fury?
You know, that's a good the size part that could play a big part in it, but then it's also skills involved here. I do believe that Tyson Fury should be able to pull this one off. I'm not going to say pull it off, because pull it off is like maybe he's desperate. No, I would believe that Tyson would beat him because he has plenty of heart. He may not know how to fight a southpaw that moves around like that. So real quick, I was taught when guys like that move a lot, you don't aim for the head, you jab them to the shoulder, you jab them to the body, the bigger part. So in your mind, you know you're touching them. Yeah. So there's no trainers out there that are really good, can really direct you sometimes in the right direction. So Tyson Fury, I would say, would beat him because he got heart. But somebody would have to tell him too, when this guy moves a lot, don't try to hit him in his head, hit him in the body. Yeah, in his chest. Go to the body. Yeah. The chest, the shoulder, whichever close to you, because he's constantly moving. And you know what we found out? Movers don't like to get touched, because there was this boxer, he was sparring partner for Tyson, and you couldn't touch him. Everybody was getting mad. Everybody was getting, what's the bounty hunter? Mike the bounty hunter. So I was sparring with Mike the bounty hunter, and my trainer said, Tim, touch the closest thing to you. Whenever he's doing all that movement, Mike the bounty hunter was making everybody miserable. They couldn't touch him. He was hitting them. So I started going to the body. I started touching everything close to him. Then I started getting to him. He stopped this sparring session, jumped out the ring, started cussing my trainer out, and he was mad because we figured this thing out. So Usyk, to me, is an easy fight if you know how to fight him. You just need somebody smart in that corner. Why touch him in the head? Hit him in the elbow. Touch him on the shoulder. Yep. Movers don't like being touched. That's why they do that.
I like
That's why they do it.
Rhythm, off balance. Yeah, it's a very, very good way of a very good analogy.
But there's no teachers. There's no teachers around to tell them that, that came from old school cheap people that I was around. And when I did that, I executed that, the bounty hunter got mad, cussed everybody out. So if Tyson Fury go for the body instead of start going for the head, put a lot of pressure on there, he's going to forget about the head, and you could probably definitely get his head later on. Don't try to get his head in early, because you're going to be moving. He don't want you touching him. So touch his body.
I like it. It's going to slow the legs down too. So that makes a hell of a lot of sense to me.
Why hit him in the head? Why hit him in the head? Hit him in the shoulder. Try to break his shoulder with an overhand right. Try to break his ribs, because three rounds down the line, he ain't gonna be able to move. You hit him with body shots. Hit him on the arm real hard. He don't like that. Movers don't like that. They like when you stop their movement. That's when you got him.
That's really interesting. I find that really interesting, by the way. Now, on to the final question for you then. So Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder is an explosive fight. I'm going to give you my opinion first. I honestly feel that Anthony Joshua is absolutely up against it, against Deontay Wilder, because Deontay Wilder is such a fantastic finisher. How do you see the fight going? And I'm going to ask you, first of all, how is it going? And also, what advice would you be giving to Anthony Joshua in this fight?
Well, I've been trying to help Anthony Joshua for like 10 years now. I would tighten his defense up, show him how to block jabs, have him slipping punches, having his defense tight. Make sure he uses jab a lot, and there's a certain way he uses jab, and he has to slip punches and relax. He bouncing around a big heavyweight like that shouldn't be bouncing around, moving around. He should stand his ground and make his opponent throw a punch, and he make his opponent miss and counter back, and use a jab and use his jab on Deontay Wilder more, but keep his defense tight. Keep his chin down. I know exactly what he needs. I don't know why I've been trying to get over it. I spoke to him on the phone, and he said, "No, T, I got my team." And I know he didn't have nobody that could teach him what I could teach him. Yeah. But I don't know, maybe it's pressure from other people. But we could have saved Anthony Joshua his legacy. He could still be undefeated if he would. I'm not taking nothing against. Who was the guy who was in his corner? Amateur guy? That's embarrassing.
Isn't he Robert Kraken?
He was amateur, right?
Yeah, he was the amateur coach, Robert Kraken, yeah.
I would shake my head every time. I have nothing against him. You don't want the two-time heavyweight champion in the world in your corner, somebody that was good at defense. Yeah. We could have saved your legacy. So I was really hurt. I said, wow, because I feel like I'm English too, because if there's any other place I'm gonna live, I'm gonna come over there. My daughter, I got a grandson. Yeah. My grandson, my daughter's from there. She lives with me now. I keep in communications with a lot of people over there. Matter of fact, I was with Cash Ali. When he was with me, he got 3 knockouts. Cash Ali, you don't know, but I was with him for his 3 knockouts. And then they brought in, what's his name? The big tall guy from Sheffield. The big tall boxer from Sheffield. He retired mixed race. Heavyweight
from Sheffield. Oh no idea.
Yeah,
I'm sure that.
Well, he was training them. And I was like, wow. You listen. You don't even have, if I don't do a good job, you ain't even got to pay me. I even said that. But it's just a shame the way boxing is, and people don't know how to select. I'm really surprised at the promoters. Some of the promoters, and during my day, promoters would not get rid of the trainer. He would keep them there, but bring somebody in. Don King even did it. Don did it. Mark Stewart did it. Those guys, if they didn't like what they see, they ain't get rid of you, but they brought in somebody that could help out. And I think that Anthony Joshua legacy would be different now if he would have got somebody. And I have nothing against McCracken, but you can see, and when the bell rings, Anthony Joshua and how he performed, and he's strong, he's big. They could have saved his legacy. He could still be undefeated. Joshua could still be undefeated, and they could be going over to Saudi Arabia having that big fight instead of them being losing fights. One loss, he lost the fight. They can go over there undefeated. But that's the bottom line. The bottom line is who's in the corner now. Malik Scott is in Deontay Wilder's corner. Malik Scott, and every time I say it, Malik got mad, but Deontay Wilder knocked Malik Scott out. Why should he hire him as his trainer?
That's a fair point, to be fair. I mean, why would you do that? But I understand people have different, professing different things. I just want to say from my end, Tim, a huge thank you for coming on the show. You're one of the most charismatic, colourful, lovely blokes to meet in real life. And we want to bring you over here to the UK. And when you do, maybe we can meet each other when we're not on the toilet this time. That's not terrible. But,
listen, if you want me to come on again, just let me know. Just let me know. We do podcasts all the time. I got the YouTube channel. Subscribe, y'all guys. Subscribe there. We be putting skills up on the YouTube channel. So if you want to look on there, just look on there. You'll see all the defensive things, and it might help you.
I'll check it out. Amazing. Tim, have a lovely night, mate. What a man. And I'll speak to you really soon. Looking forward to having you on again.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sam.
Keep your hands up. Keep your hands.
Guy. What an absolute guy. Bringing on now Gavin, who's been so patient in the background there. I've had some fantastic guests on today, and they are so colourful. They've got so much to say. I think Gav's sitting there thinking, oh, God, I'm going to try and live up to these people. Just before I bring him on, looking at backing that up, really, Leslie said, I believe that this is the best episode I've ever seen, and pray that Tim, Hector, and the chap that was with him helped to make a real change in a sometimes broken world. Respect to you all. Thank you. So Gavin is someone I had on the show ages ago, and looking at him now compared to what I did then, he seems like he's a different person completely, and that's something that I'm gonna speak to him about now. Gavin Gwynne is the British champion and an all-round fantastic guy. I'm going to bring him on now. Gavin, top man. Great to see you. How's things? Can you do me a favor? Just turn your phone to the side for me so I can get you full screen. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at it.
How's it going? You okay?
I'm great, mate. Thanks for being so patient. It's fantastic.
No problem.
I want to start from the beginning. So, of course, you are now the British champion, which is unbelievable because I remember speaking to you, and I fully remember speaking to you. You were in your garden. I remember it like it was yesterday. You seemed about half the age you are now. You
don't be saying that. I don't look that old.
Hey, for the better, mate. You look right back these days. I'm telling you, be serious.
Yeah.
So it's mad how you've come on in your career, because I distinctly remember you were kind of, I'm definitely going to be a champion. I'm definitely going to be a British champion. I know I am. And then he had a couple of losses, again, to good people. Don't get me wrong, but I've seen you on Facebook with friends there, and I've followed your journey. So first of all, a massive congratulations, and it just shows with just some grit and determination that you could do anything in your life. So of course, British lightweight champion now. So they call you the Merthyr Mexican.
Merthyr Mexican, yeah.
Tell us about that. Why the Merthyr Mexican?
It's all come from we were in the gym in LA. We were on the training camp. I was with Lee Selby, and I was sparring against one of the Mexican guys there, 147 guy. So he was quite a big lump. So my manager at the time, Chris Hannigan, he was like, "Oh, take it easy. Don't lay yourself open. This guy's pretty big. He's a big puncher." I think he was like 12-0 or 14-0 at the time, with like 12 or 14 knockouts, and I went in there. And we just started swinging. It was just like a war, really. He was just punching lumps at each other, and none of us took a backward steps. And the Mexican trainer, after I think we did like 8 rounds, and it was just a bloodbath. You don't have any spars like that, and
you don't
the
want many spars like that either, Gav, to be fair, mate.
No. So the Mexican guy come over after. He said, "You was like, you were brilliant." Then he couldn't believe I was a lightweight, and I just stood there and I had a go with him. And he was like, "Where are you from?" And normal people would say Wales. I was just like, "Oh, Merthyr." Like thinking that thinking that he'd know where that is from, and he just went, "Oh, the Merthyr Mexican." He said, "You just said you fight just like a Mexican, no backward step, just head down and wail away." So that's just all stemmed from there, and obviously the way I fight as well. People like the way I fight as well, and that's why I think I sell so many tickets. I'm never in a boring fight, and obviously it sells tickets and it's good for the fans.
100%. And one thing I want to speak to you about is recently I've seen, it's weird, and I'm sure you do the same thing with me and everybody else that you know, kind of thing, but I've seen you develop and change, and for you more growing into your man strength, because I remember this when I spoke to you last time around. You looked I wouldn't say younger, but not it seems like you've grown into your man strength, if that makes sense. You've filled out, you look more menacing. Do you know what I mean? You just do. It's weird, and it's not just a neck tattoo, just to be clear on that. It's not. You just don't know. Even your face and everything, you seem to have filled out more. So, is this something you've been kind of working on, or is it just natural?
Yeah, well, obviously, of them couple of losses, I knew there was something I had to do. So, what I done was I went back to the drawing board. Obviously, we just worked on things in the gym with my S&C coach, and obviously my nutritionist. We just worked on different things, and everything seems to have just fallen into place now. Whereas if I'd been doing that from the start, I was like sort of starving myself to make the weight. Whereas now I'm struggling to get the food into me. I can't eat enough. Do you know what I mean? They give me all this food, and like making weight last time, I was drinking water the morning of the weigh-in. That's unheard of.
That's what it's about, though, isn't it? Rather than killing yourself at the weight, you're going to come in fresh and hydrated.
And I feel so much better for it, and I'm doing everything the right way. Like I've given up my job. I'm like 2.5 years now full-time pro. I think that's a massive thing. Where I was trying to juggle working, training full-time, and family life. I was trying to juggle the three, and it was just I wasn't giving 100% to any of them. And like now, I feel like I can train 100%. I can give my boy more time, and obviously my wife, spend more time with them. It's just everything's just falling into place now, and I wish I'd done it sooner, but obviously financial reasons I couldn't. But I'm in a good place now where I can afford to train full time. Yeah.
That's fantastic, and big up to your sponsors.
Yeah, massive shout. A massive shout out to each and every one of them. Like without them, it wouldn't be possible, and I just can't thank them enough, really.
It really does make a massive difference. I mean, it's huge. I've seen a noticeable difference in you, and I didn't know that you give it work. That's brilliant, but I've just seen you just, like I say, you just seem more menacing. You seem more. I don't know how to explain it, but
I think it's more. I'm more confident in myself as well, and my abilities. Like going off my first win when I won the Commonwealth title. I went up to Bolton and boxed unbeaten Sean McComb. I was supposed to go up there and take a beating, but I beat him up and made him quit. And he's gone on to win WBO European title. Who's just won a decent fight couple of weeks back. He's a good fighter, and I went up there and made him quit. And I think I was all down to confidence in myself and knowing that I could beat these boys. I've only lost to a two-time world champion now in Joe Cordina. Today I just been playing golf with, and another one, me actually. Yes, I won. But another one in James Tennyson who hit extremely hard, and I thought I was winning that fight. Just got caught, and that's boxing. And do you know, I'm not one of them fighters who's gonna go unbeaten throughout my career. I'm not. I'm the type of fighter who takes 3 shots to give one back, sort of thing. And like some of these prospects these days, like they think it's the end of the world by losing the undefeated record. It ain't, because you'll get more opportunities, and it might work out better for you. Because for me, it made me work harder in the gym, and now even though I trained really hard before, now like I'm probably one of the hardest trainers you'll see out there. Like everyone sees that. I went up to Matchroom Gym in my last camp, and even Tony Sims said like he couldn't get over when I was running up how quick I was going, because I want to give everything. It's no point doing this sport if you're not going to be 110%, if you're going to be half-hearted doing this sort of thing.
I completely agree. And you mentioned Cordina there as one of your losses. Absolutely no shame in that. Very, very, very good fighter. And I know he's your mate, but there must be a part of you that must think, I want another go. Is that something you'd love to have, another fight with your mate Cordina? It's 1-1 now. He beat you. You beat him at golf. So you can make
Do
it
you know
2-1
what?
with a win.
I know, but he's really good. He's really good. Like, but he'd probably ping my head off again. But he's so like technically good. Like I was saying today, it's not even speed with him. It's his timing is really good.
Accuracy.
Like his accuracy, and his footwork, his head movement is just really good. And I think he will go down as one of the all-time Welsh greats as well.
That's really cool of you. And again, it's nice to see mutual respect for your countrymen. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
we had lumps out
takes.
each other for 12 rounds, so I don't think you'll get to know anyone better than hitting lumps out each other for 12
You beat
rounds.
you
Like.
a few rounds of boxing, you beat him a few rounds at golf. Sound. Well
Yeah,
done.
that's it. Right, yeah.
Ace, I love it. So what's next for you then? I mean, you're the British lightweight champion now. So what's next for you?
Do you know what? Nothing is planned. Nothing's in writing yet. But I want to defend my British title again, so I get to keep it. That's what I want to do. But if they want to move me on to European level, I'm not going to say no. I'll still get to be British champion anyway. But that whatever makes sense. I will never say no to any fight. So if they offer me a world title fight against, I don't know, Devin Haney, any Tank Davis, I'm not gonna say no. But whatever makes sense, like yeah.
Okay, I like it. Moving on to the current state of play in the UK, and
Yeah.
judging specifically. So of course, Joshua Buatsi beat Stepien the other day, last week I believe it was. I don't know if
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
watch the fight.
No, I didn't watch the fight. I watched all the build up and everything else. Yeah, yeah.
So give you an idea then. So they said that Stepien, well, one of the judges said that he lost every single round. Now I can tell you
Yeah.
straight, I'd like to know. I know a lot about boxing. Been doing it a long time. He didn't lose every
Yeah.
round. My
Yeah.
question for you being was: do you feel bad judging, bad reffing, whatever it might be? They should be
Yeah.
held accountable and should be judged on what they do, same as the fighters.
Do you know what? I know it's a lot of criticism in refereeing and judging and things like that. But like our lives are in their hand, and they only got a split second to it could go one way or the other. Like, and I've been at a boxing show where I've been on one side of the ring and it looked totally different to the other side of the ring, and then when you watch it back on telly, it looks totally different again. So. I know there's a load of people who say it's not so much. I think it's not so much as what's the word I'm looking for? Like a biased sort of way. It's just the way they sort of see it. And it does look totally different from one side of the ring to the other. So one judge might have it one way, and then the other judge might have it the other way, because obviously the angle of the fight they're seeing, sort of thing.
Okay. I mean, but it's one of them saying there's three rounds difference between them, and the other
Yeah,
saying it didn't
that's
go round. I mean, that's a bit extreme, though, isn't it?
yeah, that is a bit extreme, but you don't know. It could be a backhander. You don't know what's going on these days. It is
But
what it is.
if
Yeah,
it's something like that, and people like Spencer Oliver was going absolutely mental, saying,
yeah,
listen, whoever. I feel that listen, if you make a mistake, you
yeah,
say something
yeah,
bad in the press, you
yeah,
bring the sport into disrepute, then
yeah,
you've got to be made accountable. You're being brought in front of people like Simon Jordan and God knows whoever else, people giving you loads.
yeah,
You've got the board coming in at you. Whereas when it seems that it's other people from the other side, it's just brushed
yeah.
under the carpet and it's nothing. So the question for me is, do you think that they should be exactly the same? They should be put under the same scrutiny as everybody else?
Well, they should. Yeah, they should be held accountable for their actions, really. But that's never going to happen. I don't care what anyone says. That's not going to happen.
Okay, and moving on to a similar topic here.
Yeah,
One thing we're
yeah,
seeing more and more in the modern day, probably more in the modern day because of technology. Because let's be honest, this drugs in
yeah,
performance using drugs.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that Mike Tyson did it. He's openly admitted it, saying that he used a fake penis to wee and to use someone else's urine. So it happened. Listen, he was on cocaine a lot of the time. He was on wherever else when he was fighting. So listen, it's not new to the sport. But performance enhancing drugs now, there's a lot of it going on. You see what's happening with Conor Benn. What do you feel? Do you feel that the board did the right thing? And because I honestly think they did. For me personally, I thought they did the right thing and just stay strong. They didn't bend down to Eddie Hearn or Conor Benn. And to be honest, a lot of the time, Conor Benn's probably didn't do himself any favors, in my opinion. Do you feel right?
Like, drugs have got no place in combat sport where our life's at the hands of each other in the ring. So it should be 100% clean, and I do stand by the board's reasons of banning Conor, but obviously he got his reasons as well. He believes he's innocent. I don't know if he is or not, but I'm not going to say otherwise. So that's not for me to say. But it's just I looked into it, and me and Joe was talking about it today, and obviously going off the samples, and then they were tested at a certain time and then put back in the thing and then tested again. There's a bit something's a bit dodgy there, because I watched. I was saying to Joe, I watched a series. I don't know if it was on Netflix or on something. It was a Olympic. It's like a speed walker, and he got drugged. Yeah, that's the ones. So he tested positive for this. I don't know what it was. Got banned, and he admitted taking this substance, and then he come back after his ban, and he was completely clean. He got with his trainer who was testing him daily, because he said, "I'm not training you unless I'm testing you. I want you to be 100% clean." And he dedicated himself. He just said, "I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have doped in the first place." I know that's a totally different kettle of fish, speed walking to a combat sport, but still. And I don't know what testing agency it was, but they done him over, put stuff in his piss, tested him on the 1st of January, and then didn't do the actual test until a couple of days later. And then they were scribbling things out on the piece of paper and then taking photos and then rubbing different ones back in. It was dodgy, but you could see where Conor's coming from. Like, if that's happening, that's the highest level as well. Olympic gold medalist. You could see where Conor's coming from, because I seen in one report that one of the things had been Tipex and then wrote over the top of the Tipex. Like, why would you need to do that? Retesting something you've already tested, but it could get contaminated. Do you know what I mean? So it's just. But I do agree with you. Drugs have got no place in boxing or no combat sport whatsoever, because obviously our lives are
100%. I've always said, Gav, honestly, I would put it down as attempted murder. I would.
Yeah, it is.
Or like assault with a deadly weapon or something like that.
And like where the tests should be banned for life, they should never just get like Canelo tested positive, but he's back, and no one talks about it anymore. Tyson Fury tested positive, come back, no one talks about that anymore. Dylan White, come back, don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah,
so
there's loads.
But
it's horrendous, and he's still back fighting.
He's still back fighting. Like, if you test positive in any combat sport, that's you done. And that's the only way it would stop people doping in combat sports.
Absolutely. Where can we find you on the likes of social media? Because I think you're a great guy, and honestly, I'm wondering what you're going to look like the next time I speak to you. You're going to look like Anthony Joshua. Tell you, it's morphing into this beast. It's ridiculous. So, where can people follow you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm on obviously Facebook. I'm down Gavin Gwynne, and then on Instagram, I think it's GavG1. But just type in Gavin Gwynne, and my page will come up. I got a little blue tick by the side of it. And then Twitter, I'm sure it's just Gavin Gwynne again. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Awesome. Well, either
I'm
way,
not.
we're gonna
I
be
don't go on.
excited.
I don't go on it too much. Twitter. I'm not a big
Fair enough.
Twitter fan because
I'm on
I
it,
just
then.
get.
I'm on it.
I just get rinsed on Twitter. People taking the piss out of me.
I don't get it. I honestly don't get Twitter. The only thing I've ever done on Twitter is when and this is well documented. I went up to my career is absolutely no surprise what I want to do in my career. I think people know where I want to go. But I said it like it was last week before. Still, Steve Bunce was in Telford a couple of times before I saw him, and I followed him outside of the arena, and I said, "Steve, I respect you, but I'm having your job soon." And I felt terrible. Don't get me wrong, I meant it, but it was just that like I felt disrespectful. So I tweeted him the next day to listen, no disrespect.
He's a nice guy, Steve. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He messaged me back and said, "Don't worry, good luck and everything." So it's cool.
I was speaking to him after my last fight in Cardiff in the hotel. He stayed in the same hotel, and he was wishing me all the best. And he said, "Oh, go on and make as much money as possible because you deserve it."
You do.
He's a nice guy.
Pleasure to follow you through the sport, Gav. Honestly, mate, it really,
really. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
To fight on, be British champion. You're going to go down in history with some of the most incredible. Look at the Welsh. Jimmy, you were talking about Jimmy Wilder earlier on. Joe Calzaghe, the Enzo Macaronales, the Cordinas now, the
Howard Winston.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Yeah. You're going to go down in history as a British champion at one of the few from Wales. It's such a small country. Country I'm really fond of. Fond memories. Not quite the same in real these days. I'll be honest.
No.
I think last time we went there, we got the car nicked. actually happened. I'm not even joking. We found it. It was parked up.
Some 10-year-old took it out.
Didn't even ruin the car, and it was actually a really fun memory in the end.
Probably just needed a lift home and took the car.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but it was quite funny. It's one of my closest memories with one of my best friends, and my best friend's fighter Nathan, and it was him and his dad who was both our trainers. He's not with us anymore. Bless his God.
Yeah.
We went out on a night out. We really ended up having a fight with some of these traveller guys. No, it was not for any other reason than they wanted fighters for money and that because they realised that we fought. And it was just a brilliant memory because we remember going back to the car park and looking and we were like, oh, where's the car gone? Like in Rill, do you know what I mean? Like in the middle of nowhere. And, I think that was the night when Joe Calzaghe fought. Oh, what's his name now? The guy off the Contender.
I know. In Millennium Stadium.
Yes.
Is that the one? Lacey?
No. The one with the beard. Looked like Mexican. You know anyway, him, yeah. The guy off.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
But it's not
Didn't he drop him?
I can't remember.
Didn't he drop Joe?
He was a tough kid. And I can't remember what his name is. If you're watching, if you can remember what his name is, because that's going to Peter Manfredo is his name.
Right, yeah.
And we went back to the car. It was gone. So we went looking for it. We're like, where's the car gone? We rang the police and they literally parked up the road. The doors open, just left it there. And then we had to wait for our mate to drive from Stoke, pick us up and get us out the impound. It was ridiculous. But anyway, that's the way it is. Gav, I just want to say, mate, what a lovely bloke you are. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you.
To follow your journey, and I'll continue to do that and support you. Guys, make sure you follow this guy because he's going all the way. And thanks for coming on the show, Gav, mate. You're a top man.
Nice one. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Soon. Take care,
all
mate.
Right, cheers.
What a guy. Thanks, everybody, for watching. It's been a longer than usual show today. We've had some fantastic guests on, Hector Camacho, as well as a guy who I'm going to shout out, actually, just before I leave, Kevin Oliver, who just messaged. I know you're still there, Kevin, and I want to shout you out there, mate. So he's simply honoured to be on the show. Thank you. StoppingGunViolence.com and StoppingFentanyl.com, my son's groups, which is lovely. And me, Shattered, making a difference and making their names. Kevin Joe Oliver and Andon Joe Oliver, my boys. Bless you. Honoured to be on your show. Thank you. Hail Repair. Oh, okay, I won't shout that out. But anyway, I didn't shout his email out then. But thanks for coming on the show. We had Hector Camacho Jr. talking about him and his father and his career a little bit earlier on. Gavin Gwynne, the British champion, a little bit earlier on. And this is now your chance to be a winner. So after all this, make sure you share now. Because this is you're going to have a chance. Make sure you share and press and type in that you've shared, and we're going to actually pick a winner. I keep forgetting There are people who have won, and they can prove it. You've got the magnets up on the kitchen and everything. But this is your chance now. Go to Mary Maxwell, actually, over on YouTube. Wonderful man, Hector. Loved meeting you last weekend, and thanks for working against gun violence and helping with our groups. Kevin Oliver is a good friend. Cool. Thanks for watching. And make sure if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Actually, I've got something to say to you guys. I've not even touched YouTube all my entire career, which is just stupid of me, considering the amount of thousands of fighters that I've interviewed, the best of whoever walked the planet. But I've never been on YouTube. So I've been working my absolute balls off for the last 4 or 5 months, getting all the content on YouTube. And I've just applied, I've just got there. You need 4,000 hours watch time and 1,000 subscribers. We've managed to get to over 3,000 subscribers, and we've just hit over 4,000 watch time in 4 months. So it normally takes I think it's 2.2 years to become a YouTube partner. But we've bloody done it. We've bloody done it, haven't we? Only got and bloody done it. So well chuffed. So yeah, so that's cool. I just wanted to tell you that because it's been a hell of a journey. So I'm going to go to a winner now. I'm just going to pick one, whether it's shared or not, because I can't bother. And it's going to be whoever just gone on there. Paul Driscoll. Paul Driscoll was talking about being ringside for Hector Camacho. Paul, you are the winner of this week's giveaway. Make sure you send to me. You'll find my page. It's Dan Hewitt, boxing commentator. Make sure you send me your address, and I'll get a gift package over to you. I know you're a great fighter yourself back in the day, and it'll be a pleasure for it to have you up on the fridge. So thanks for watching, guys. It's been a real pleasure. It really, really has. I worked bloody hard to do this, and let's grow this channel together. Anybody watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Please share, leave a like on this video so more people can watch. And as I say every single week, stick into your boxing. You're all absolute legends. Love you. Stay safe. Take care.